What's up, guys? I'm Williams.
Meet day.
Let's go,
and your boy's ready. This meet is fun.
We got something to do. We got to do something bigger than this. Let's go. Lock it in. Lock it in.
What's up, guys? I'm Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, physical health and social well-being, and we are 2 weeks out from Raw Nationals. And I gotta be honest, this past week, so from the last time we guys talked was Wednesday of last week, so a week ago, and it was my heaviest primary SBD day of the block. So on top of that, it was just a super long week in general. I had like 29 blocks to write for clients. I had 30 plus client check-ins on that particular week between the monthly client check-ins, the weekly client check-ins, had different meetings. As far as like the upcoming seminar that that Steve Denobi and Brad Couillard plan to do later this year in September, had meetings involving that. I had a wedding to go to. I had appointments to go to for my daughter, appointments to go to for my dog. It was just a very busy week as a whole. And it was one of those things where after that Wednesday, that SBD day, like I was very tempted to kind of just mentally checked out, kind of just go through the motions, right? But I reminded myself that, the heavy work is done. The rest is just about practice and being intentional. So I'm very happy that I was able to kind of get back in that zone, because on Thursday, so the day after my SBD session, we came in and managed to hit a long pause bench with 352 pounds, which hitting that type of weight for a long pause after my SBD session is huge for me, because my bench never feels fantastic the day after the SBD session. And then the following day, which was after the longest day of the week, after the wedding, and I ended up training at like 9:30 p.m., hit a all-time PR set of 5 on squats, 463 pounds at an RP 7 to 7.5 at most. So I was happy that I buckled in and did what I need to do, because I was tempted to just move that squat workout to the following day and combine it with bench, which probably would have been fine, but it's this thing where I'm like, I'm too close to make unnecessary changes. Like, yeah, it's gonna take work, yeah, I'm gonna be tired, but I gotta zone in for what I need to do. So at this point, this is the final phase of training. Like, we start the new block today, and it's just a 2-week build into the meet where I will compete on the week 3 primary, the same way that I push my highest exertions on the week 3 of a block. So today, it's just taking what's there for the RPE and executing everything to comp standards. That is my goal for the day. And I also kind of just want to talk to you guys a little bit more about, like, the name of the series. Like, it's for myself. I've talked about it here and there in the past, but I want to talk about, like, why hitting the specific total that I want at this body weight at nationals, on the national level stage, means so much to me. But first, let's get right into the workout. Alright guys, so squats went extremely well. I literally was listening to the Too White Light podcast during my warm-ups. No hype music or anything like that, just because it's not necessary for today. I want to focus on just keeping calm, being objective, and taking what's there. And beyond that, on all my top sets now, I'm not listening to anything. No music, no nothing. I want to practice how I play on the platform. I can't have music, so I don't want to have any music playing while I'm trying to focus on, like, these top set executions. You guys see that I did 474 pounds for my single. Last block, I did 485 pounds to start off. And then the block before that, the same thing. Now, you guys know that we're talking about the same blocks in the same macro. I like to see that relative progression. Like, whatever my start point is with a top set, I like it to either match or be a little bit more based upon how I'm feeling. However, I'm able to be objective and realize that the reason I was able to do 485 last block and block before is because fatigue just wasn't as high. Whereas from this past week with the huge SBD day, the PR sets, especially that 463 for 5 on the squats, and just due to my range of motion, how I'm built, I know that pushing squat PRs like that are gonna nuke me a little bit. So rather than coming in and hitting 485, it would have probably been like a 6.5 to 7. I came in and took a calm 474 that I knew would be true to the RP. Because you guys may recall that last meet, I told you guys that I felt like I got too caught up in like forcing things, so that last block building into the meet in terms of my start point and what I hit a week out. When it's like, as I already said, the heavy work is done. All I need to do is be true. Be true this week, take what's there. The next week will be the taper week, so once again, take what's there, let the reduction in volume do its thing, but don't force excessive intensity this week or next week, 'cause I don't need to. I'm already strong enough to hit what I need to hit. It's just maintaining the fitness and building into the meet and keeping that fatigue managed. So that's why I just went for 474. And it's also why I did a bigger percent drop. Instead of doing like, 14 or 15% less for my top set like I usually do on week 1, I did a 19% drop, which has me at 385 pounds for my back down. So you guys just saw the first set. And I believe last block I started like 402 or 407 or something like that. But once again, there's just not a need for me to force anything. My RP cap for my back down today is an RP6. So I'm starting with a weight that might be a little bit under that for the first set, but I know by the time I get to the the last 2 or the last set in general, it'll feel like that RP6 cap that it needs to be at. So that's what I'm doing for the squats. I'm gonna show you guys my very last back down set as well. Then we'll get right into bench. All right, so squats are done. I was gonna go right into bench, but I just wanted to say, I'm very happy with my control today, because as you guys know, my biggest mistake that I think I make with heavier weights or on meet days is I get so hyped and so excited to where I don't make sure those small nuanced things are on point, like, are my feet fully rooted? I feel my big toe, pinky toe, and heel driving into the floor. Is my upper back as tight as possible? Am I make sure that my hips and knees break at the same time? Am I controlling the descent fully? Because little things like, oh, my toes weren't fully rooted, or oh, I spin my descent up a little bit, those little things can throw off my position or cause tension loss to where that can make or break my topping. Once again, with my leverages, it's so much about maintaining tension and position. And the 463 squat PR from this past Friday reminded me that, like, okay, that was 463 for 5, big PR, RP like 7, 7.5. And the reason it moved so well is because I wasn't in my head about it. I just took my time and treated each rep like a single. I didn't get hyped for it because it's like, oh, it's 463, not a big deal, right? And if I just take that same approach with my heavier weights, I'll be good. I didn't, once again, you guys know I didn't take pre-workout on my last SBD day. I didn't take pre-workout this time either. I'm probably not gonna take pre-workout next week, and I might not even take it at the meet. Like, I'm finding for me, the way I'm able to get internally wired and hyped, combined with caffeine, can sometimes just be too much, so we'll see. If anything, I don't think I'll take it for squats. I'll probably take it for pulls, because I think that's where, like, I'll need it more so. But as of right now, we're coasting without the caffeine. So, like I said, squats, I'm really happy with my control, my position, my drive, everything felt locked in. Bench, same mindset, just gonna build up, take what's there for the RP6 and keep it moving.
Start. Press. Right.
Alright guys, so bench press felt extremely smooth, kind of the same thing. Last block I hit 341. The block before that I started off with 330. Today I hit 330 just because my warm-ups were feeling like not quite as good as what I'd like. Once again, it's to be expected. It's week 1, fatigue is high. That long range of motion I go through between squatting 374 on last week's Wednesday, then hitting the 352, then just kind of lows I pushed on my tertiary and quaternary day. It's to be expected. The 330 felt great. It actually felt better than the 308 warm before. So that just shows how much a good lift off helps me. And then the back downs felt effortless, like smooth, easy 2-count work. Let's get into the deadlifts. All right, guys, so we're back at the crib, and today was smooth. Very, very mindless. I don't want to use the word mindless. Very, very casual, but intentional. Deadlifts felt great. Like I told you guys before, I have reincorporated a small hip shoot back into my deadlift. You guys might remember years ago, back when my mechanics were just awful, like my setup wasn't great, my bracing wasn't good, my overall position wasn't good, and then I would do a super aggressive hip shoot, which just made me lose more position. So I got away from the hip shoot to work on the mechanics of properly hinging to the bar, getting the slack out by pressing to the floor and pulling up on the bar, setting my wedge, then just pressing the weight off the floor. And now that I have all that down, what I found is the little mini hip shoot just really helps me to just enforce that much more, getting the slack out, really wedging hard, and just driving with my legs from the moment I started wedging into it. That was one thing that I feel like I did incorrectly with the 640 pull last week. Was on my warm-ups, I was doing that, but then with the 640 pull, like I got the slack out and I wedged into it, but I kind of like just stopped at the wedge and then tried to push instead of committing from the push from the moment that I start initiating that wedge, right? So because I was able to, you know, focus up on doing that today, everything felt really, really good. So that's going to be the main thing I'm focused on with my deadlifts, and everything else feels super locked in. Belt squats, casual, didn't go crazy heavy with it, just got in some good volume. So we're in a really good spot as far as that. And I'm really, really just, you know, happy overall with how the day went. Now, with that being said, hold on, let me see here. Hold on, we got to clear a little bit of space off the camera, transparency here. So I do have things I want to talk to you guys about as far as my goals with nationals and why this meet means so much to me, both as a lifter and a coach. But first, let me clear some space real quick so this doesn't die before I go on this little rant. All right, we're back. So, yeah, let's dive right into it. Let me first start off by saying that no matter how nationals goes for me as a lifter, as a coach, I'm in a very awesome spot. Like to even be in the spot that I'm in right now in terms of just the life I live, like, you know, I have a beautiful wife, I have a beautiful daughter, I have friends and family who love and support me and who care about me and believe in me. You know, I have, you know, a great support system, both, you know, with you guys, subscribers on YouTube, and then like the following continue to grow on Instagram as well. And I'm very blessed to be in the position that I'm in and to make a living off doing what I love. And that's why no matter how things go down at nationals, I know I'm going to be good because I have a great life, right? With that being said, I'm very heavily emotionally invested in nationals and this specific nationals, both as a coach and a lifter. As a lifter, for me, it's the fact that hitting a 700 kg total, right, or more if it's there, but hitting a 700 kg total at, you know, the 75 kg weight class and getting that 500 dots, right, or, you know, I think that even might give me like around a 500 Wilks, whatever it may be, depending on what I weigh in at. Being able to do that means a lot for me as a lifter, because when I'm somebody where I have done really well in pretty much everything that I've tried. Anything that I've done, I've thrived in. And how well I do in it is usually just based upon how much effort I put into it. I've never been limited based off my own capabilities, right? And that's with anything I've done in life. So powerlifting for me was very humbling because it's one of those things where, you know, it's so dependent upon your genetics. That's just the reality of it, right? Like your potential in the sport set the day you're born, and how much your potential fulfill is based upon how much work you put in, essentially. And I've told you guys that before. And there's a point in time where I was really down on myself when I realized, dang, I'm not going to be like the best at this. You know what I mean? Like the best of the best, or I can only get so far into it, you know, so on and so forth, especially when there's all these other people popping out, these freaks doing these crazy things, right? And I think I really started realizing that a few years ago when I first met, you know, Michael C., who's now my client, and meeting people like Anas, and realizing that, dang, I'm over here winning these local meets, I'm up here, and there's all these people that are on this whole different spectrum of strength, right? And it was frustrating for me at one point in time. Obviously not now, but years ago it was, because this thing where it's like, dang, I can't do what I want to do with this. So it's really cool to be at this point now where, like, if I'm able to do that, right, get that 500 dots, that 500 Wilks, even though these numbers may be arbitrary to a bunch of people, to me, it holds weight and value because of the fact that despite the fact that I have every reason to not be pushing my training as hard, right? I'm a dad now. I have a kid to provide for, I have a wife to provide for. The amount of clients that I work with in total and making sure that I'm trying to be on top of their stuff and not slacking with the 24-hour communication, the check-ins, the individual block writing, all that type of stuff. Having friends and family who are going through a bunch of different things, and me being me, I try to be there for them, spreading myself thin. I have every reason to just pull back on my training, right? Because it's the thing that doesn't matter the most technically, as far as like I'm not getting paid to do it, right? But I value my training. I'm always going to value my health and workout, period, but I value my training specific to powerlifting because I'm at a point where I'm doing things now that I did not think I'd necessarily be able to do a few years ago in terms of like just my numbers and my strength. So to be able to hit that threshold will allow me to just really be proud of myself as a lifter. And that's why this series is titled For Myself, right? Like as a lifter, this is for me. Like, of course, I'm happy to set the example for my clients, lead from the front, show that I practice what I preach to all of you guys, but ultimately, like, I'm doing it for me. I want to go in and hit this total at this weight class for myself so I can be at peace with where I leave the weight class and then get back to filling up the 83, well, now 82.5 kg weight class. So I'm emotionally invested. I really, really care about this prep. I really want to do well. Like, I think about it a lot, even outside of the gym, not to an unhealthy degree, right? But I get excited when I think about it. There's people at this meet that I want to beat too, people that were very close neck and neck, and I want to beat them. I like that competition. That's just who I am as a person. So as a lifter, that's why it matters to me. I know that no matter what, as long as I go out there and do my best, I know my coach will be proud of me. I know my wife will be proud of me, my friends, and my clients will be proud of me. Like the fact that I'm going out there at all and doing nationals and then going to be handling the whole rest of the week, all my clients are just like, dude, you're the man, you're out here doing the thing. But for me, that's not enough. I want to show what I can do in terms of like the actual total execution on meet day, regardless of what I've done in training. I want to be able to execute on the platform, right? So that's why it means a lot to me as far as that. From the coaching perspective, it means even more. From the coaching perspective, it's not just for myself. It really is for the standard of what I want coaching to be going forward in powerlifting. I'm going to get really real right now. The standards for what coaching is in powerlifting right now is garbage. It's way too low. It's this thing where, I'm sorry, you are not a coach or a good coach just because you have strong lifters under you. If anything, there's a lot of people out here where it's like you're strong in spite of your coach, not because of your coach. I'm just keeping it a buck. I'm somebody where it's like you're not a good coach just because you have strong lifters under you. You're not a good coach just because your programming's on point. And you're not a good coach if you're just decent with communication. Like, it's all these things. Like, a good coach is somebody where they're on top of their communication, right? You should not be going days or weeks without hearing back from your coach. That's unacceptable, period. A good coach is somebody where they're able to help you with your technique. They should have enough understanding of the big three and the movement to be able to actually give you feedback on your technique. Even if you feel really strong, your positions seem sound, if you ask for feedback, you should be able to get some. It's one thing if the feedback is, hey, everything really does look locked in, and they can explain why it looks locked in, but your coach should be able to give you technical feedback. Your coach is somebody who should be able to cater their programming to you as an individual. If they're on the spectrum of you look at all the other clients that work with your coach and all the programming looks exactly the same, that is a problem. That is cookie cutter. That doesn't cut it. And on the opposite end, if you see that, hey, me and all my friends who are coached by this guy, like our programming all is very different, but it seems very random and there's no real thought behind it. It's different just for the sake of being different. That is a problem too. The programming needs to be catered to you because it works for you, regardless of if other people are doing it or not doing it. So if your coach isn't doing that, that is unacceptable in my mind. If you have a coach where it's like, when you first start, things seem really good, they're communicated, but then over time, they have all these excuses. Oh, I'm sorry, I got busy, I'm dealing with this life stress, that life stress. Unacceptable. If you are paying for a service, and in the service, it is agreed that you are going to get communication this frequently, and that the program is going to be to this level, or whatever, then that is what it should be, period. If you have a coach where it's like, they have too many clients, and they're only paying attention to like their stronger clients or the clients that they're close friends with, that is unacceptable to me. So for me, I'm very happy to be at this point where I have been true to myself, true to my ethics, true to my values with how I've gone about the coaching. And I've built up to this point now where, I have these high-level lifters under me, right? Ashton Ruska, Jamar Royster, Brandon Petrie, Michael C., Jordan, Lisha, Bob, like the list goes on and on, right? But what I'm happy about is these people, I believe, and they can tell themselves, came to me because of the standard they saw I set for myself with my clients who maybe weren't at that elite level. And I'm very happy to say that the same attention to detail and communication and everything that they are getting, all my clients get that across the board because I'm a big believer in treating each client like they're the only one you have. To do that, you have to actually have a realistic range of how many clients you can work with. For some people that might be 20, some might be 30, some might be 50. Maybe you're somebody like me where you have the personality type where you can handle working with 70 full coaching clients at a time and give them all that attention that they need, be on top of the check-ins, the 24-hour communication, everything. But if that's not you as far as being able to do that level, that's okay. Work with the amount of people you can work with because ultimately that is your choice. But that's kind of my point. I feel like I get compliments about things like, oh, Marcellus will take the time to really communicate with his clients. Oh, Marcellus really knows his stuff when it comes to technique. Oh, Marcellus really cares about his clients. That should not make me exceptional. That should be the bare minimum. Your coach should care. Your coach should know the thing about technique. Your coach should communicate with you. If you're not getting that, then that's a problem. It needs to be something where your coach needs to either elevate themselves to a higher standard or you might need to go get a new coach. Simple as that. People can call it coach hopping or this and that, but if you're paying for a service and you don't feel like you're getting what you need to out of that service, that's a problem. It's another thing if you and your coach are working through issues, right? Like they are communicating, they're doing everything they're supposed to, but you're just going through a hard slump in training. That's different. Stick with them. Push through that. But if it's a matter of your coach doesn't communicate with you, the feedback you're getting is like, oh, looks good, or oh, fix, or hey, that looks bad. But they're not explaining why. They're not giving you the tools to actually help you be better. That's a problem. And I get passionate about this because I make my full-time living doing this. I love this. And it's not this thing where I'm out here needing other coaches to fail or needing people to leave their coaches because, one, my roster's full. I'm not out here trying to like take extra clients. It's more the fact of for powerlifting to be better as a whole, for the community to be better, for it to be elevated, the standard of coaching has to be elevated. And that's why, right now I'm going to have on screen a list of people that I know, whether because they're clients under me and I work with them directly, or they're people where I've talked to them enough and I've talked to their clients enough to know that they hold themselves to the same standard that I do. And I'm going to have that list on screen somewhere so that you guys can know that, if since I'm full, or if you're a coach you want to go to, maybe like, Steve DeNovi or Sean Noriega, if they're full, that these are people you can go to that they may not be as well known as some of these bigger name coaches but they hold themselves to a standard. They have high quality in terms of their communication, their programming, and above all, they care. And the most importantly, they are striving to constantly grow and get better. And that's my thing. It doesn't matter what level we get to at the sport. As coaches, we should always be striving to grow and get better. Because the moment you decide that, oh, nope, I've made to this point and I don't need to change anything, this is how I do things, people can take it or leave it, you're going to get surpassed because your clients are going to get to a point where they're still trying to learn more, to where they don't need you anymore because they can predict what you're going to do and what you're going to say because you're not growing along with them. Or they're going to leave you for somebody who is trying to constantly grow and get better. That's the thing. It's like I could easily be at this point where like, oh, I'm coaching Ashton, I'm coaching, Bob Matthews, like how I do things, and that's it. But no, I'm always striving. And any of my clients will tell you to get better and learn more and make those adjustments and cater to each of them as individuals because that is what they're paying for. And above all, that is the right thing to do. It doesn't mean that everyone's coaching has to look like mine. If you don't do the 24-hour communication feedback, you want to have like assigned check-ins, whatever, that's fine. Or maybe like I know a lot of good coaches, they use like, Discord, they use like, online formatting like that to like set their check-ins and how their clients can reach them. So that way they have hours of operation. You can reach them from 9 to 5. However you choose to go about it, it's fine. It's not to look exactly the same way that my structure looks. But the point is it needs to be something that is high quality, that is valuable to the client, where they are getting the most bang for their buck. And if your excuse is that, well, I only charge this much, so I only do this, well, that's your choice. You choose how much you charge, right? But at the end of the day, it's a service and it should be a high quality service. So I say all that to say I'm excited because I'm at a point where this nationals going in with 20 plus lifters, a lot of these guys and girls are top level lifters, where we can break some records, win some national titles and just show out for real. And I'm excited and proud to do that because we're going to do it with me knowing that the way I've gone about the coaching is, in my mind, the right way to going about it. It's not just this thing where we're slacked on anything. It's not just this thing where, oh, just because these guys are strong, we're going to win. It's like, no, the work has been put in both by them and myself. And I know that unfortunately, coaching isn't always judged based upon like the communication or the programming or the quality of the service itself. A lot of times it's based upon how many national titles do you have? How many wins do you have? So I'm very grateful. And the reason why this nationals matter so much because I'm at a point now where team craftsmanship can go in and do that. We can win some of these titles. We can get some of these accolades. And hopefully with that, people will see that this is the standard of what it should be. And with that, hopefully people are motivated to change for the better. If they feel like they're slacking these areas with their coaching, they'll push that more. If they're a new coach coming up, they'll realize that this is what it should look like, instead of it being this thing where it's just purely about just wins and nothing else beyond that, right? So, yeah, this nationals means a lot to me. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to go in there and do my thing as a lifter. I'm excited to go in there and do my thing as a coach. I'm very proud of the work that all of my clients have put in with this prep. Y'all know who you are. Y'all know you're killing it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that little rant. I just need to get that off my chest and express why this meet means so much to me, because it really does. But that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go leave a comment down below. Let me know what you did. If you're not, leave a comment down below. Let me know what I can do better. Like the video, share, subscribe. Keep it simple, specific, scientific. I'll catch you guys later.